And yeah, that's pumping out some intense hail, moving right through Dodge County. I'm going to pause this and let's see if we can get a radar estimate as far as how big that hail potentially could be, if we're able to pick it up. Yeah, it looks like it's not reading it, but I would say that's at least looking like potential for at least 2-inch diameter hail as this continues to lift to the northeast. Let me look at the National Weather Service again, see if we're getting any updates continuing the tornado warning. Looks like a hail report in Dousman from that cell that was out ahead of things. And yeah, just continuing to monitor things. Brendan, what do you got over there?
Yeah, still watching that, areas of rotation. We're still monitoring this line very closely. As you said, we're getting some of the hail reports coming in from the National Weather Service. We've got spotters out there, emergency managers that are kind of patching that in. So I think you mentioned that Beaver Dam, dime-sized hail, perhaps some quarter-sized hail that we're seeing. The hail and the shear that we're closely monitoring is a little bit farther to the south, or has been. But now this area of rotation starting to move just to the east of Beaver Dam. So we're talking about Rolling Prairie, Juneau again, Horicon, really anywhere along Highway 33. We need to bring things indoors, move as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I want to bring you to the center of the home. And again, as Niz mentioned, we are continuing that tornado warning for central Dodge County until 6:15. So this is not over just quite yet. I want to bring in what we call the shear, is Niz was kind of indicating a little bit earlier with the hail as well. This is where we have changing wind direction and speed as you go up in the atmosphere. So the low level rotation on these showers and thunderstorms, this is what we're watching very carefully. And so you can see the area of concern here highlighted pretty with those bright colors, indicating that we do have that change in low level speed and direction with the wind. So right around Lowell, moving to the north and to the east. So really anybody along Highway 60 from Hustisford up towards Mayville, also intersecting there, Highway 33. We want you to be heading to the tornado safe spot right now. So I know we have had folks watching from Dodge County. I've had a number of comments come in from Dodge County on some earlier Facebook Lives today. This is the time where we would advise folks, hey, there is something going on. We want you to pull it inside and take those tornado safety precautions. So again, for folks that are just joining, you're under that tornado warning, you've gotten the alert on your mobile phone, it is time to head to the lowest level or innermost room of whatever sturdy structure that you are in. You want to stay away from windows. If you know somebody in the tornado warned area here in central Dodge County, or even we had that, of course, earlier warning, though there are some indications the storm is kind of losing that rotation, that definition in Fond du Lac County. Anyone that is under one of these tornado warned storms, if you know them, hey, send them a quick text, get them on the horn, let them know what's going on so that they can start following this situation. Another thing that you're probably noticing, boy, Brendan, that's a lot of lightning on these storms. You be absolutely right. We are tracking probably between 400 or 500 strikes just by zooming into Dodge and Fond du Lac counties. So these are significant lightning producers as well. You definitely don't want to be caught outside in any of this and want to bring it inside as any of these storms make their way through. So again, we go back to live radar. We've got, quite a bit of lightning, but I take the warnings here just to show you where the polygons are. So right now, if you are in central Dodge County, we're in Clyman, over towards Rubicon, even towards Mayville. Right now, we want you in those tornado safety spots. It is time to respect the polygon. The National Weather Service has put down the warning. It is time to take action.
Hey, Brendan.
Yes.
I'm looking, Weather Service is really concerned about this rotation that's starting to form west of Juneau. It's a little scattered on our end here, but this area right here to the west of Juneau, Weather Service is starting to really key in on. Looking at some of their imagery. Yeah, it does. And then when you pair it up, with the reflectivity, that part of the storm right there, let's zoom in on it, I think should be at this point our most concern. So you have some really high reflectivities. Their higher resolutions actually showing a little bit of a hook echo with this right around Juneau, and matching up with the velocity. I'm going to look at our correlation coefficient, the same area. Okay, yeah, there it is, and I'm looking at it right now. So there we go, right at Juneau. This little ball, that circular ball here, what we get is, if you weren't with us before, I'll explain it again. All the reds, that's indicating a radar scan of everything's relatively the same size. Now, when you start to get the colors to drop out, go green and even white, that is an indication that you are picking up things of all shapes and sizes. So this will likely be debris right now in Juneau. So folks, I really hope you're in your basement or your tornado safe spot in Juneau. I'm going to switch back over to the velocity, and there we go. We're starting to get those scans too of concern. All right, so I talked about this earlier. What we don't want is the brighter colors to come together, the brighter reds and the brighter greens. Again, you have reds that are going away from the radar site, so going this direction, and then you have greens that are going this direction towards the radar site. So what you get is this tight little area of rotation that quite frankly looks like it's passing right through Juneau. Maybe north side of Juneau, right around Home Road. We're talking about North Grove Road here. That's the area right now that we have confirmation that we do have a tornado here. Again, this is a spot where you're starting to see those brighter colors starting to come together. That's regular velocity. I'm going to switch over to storm relative velocity, see if it gives us a different little picture. Basically the same thing. You see that? You have the reds and you have the blues coming together right on the north side of Juneau here. So we're talking just north of 26, East Center Street. Folks, if you are downstream of this, please, if you're downstream of this, don't be going out and looking right now. North Grove Road, Main Street here. You have St. Helena Road. This is County Road S, running County Road S. You can see again, this is an area right now I would bank on it. I'm going to look on the Weather Service chat right now. Radar confirmed we're seeing debris. So there is no visual confirmation yet of that tornado, but radar is sure showing the potential. So you have East Center Street here, just north of that, Home Road. Here's where the radar is depicting a tornado, and it's traveling to the east-northeast. So please, folks, you have to be in your basement. Let's switch over to that correlation coefficient again. Right around Juneau, looks like the debris is getting picked up now farther east. So again, now the debris signature, yeah, it's east of that area. So here's Center Street again. So we're now east. Here's the debris signature. So the radar is picking up debris, and maybe it's a little higher up. So there's a chance that this is out ahead of where the actual tornado is. But here's your debris. So now we're talking south side of Horicon. South side of Horicon. You really need to be in your tornado safe spot. South of Horicon, all of Horicon needs to be in your tornado safe spot. Eventually over towards Hubbard. We're talking, looks like this is County Road TW, or County Road E. You got to be in your tornado spot, your safe spot there. Let me switch back over to the velocity data here. I want to look, yeah, Juneau still, that still is popping some pretty good rotation here on right around Juneau. This is probably likely east. Now, once we get a new scan, it's probably right here between Juneau and Horicon, and eventually traveling just south of Horicon here. This is definitely a tornadic looking storm here. So please, folks, you got to be in your tornado safe spot. Let's take a little wider view here just to get a bigger picture of what's going on. I would heads up now, this southern part of this cell starting to reorganize too, combining with that other cell around Watertown. We're going to watch out for that. The one out ahead of it, still the potential for hail, but nothing tornadic that's moving into Jackson and West Bend. Let's switch over to the Ville mode. Yeah, the main event is definitely this cell that's moving through Dodge County right now. Large hail potential with this too. This is a huge amount of Ville, vertically integrated liquid that's moving right into Mayville, Hubbard, eventually Lamira. Please, folks, again, this is not a storm to be out in, not a storm to be messing with. If we could go to, let's see where our storm chaser location is. If we're able to go to Megan Lee, I would like to talk to her and see if she can give us a view. If you could point the camera to the northwest. If you're able to point the camera to the northwest direction, you'll start to get a look at that cell. You're pretty far away from it. But if you're traveling, swinging around to the northwest, up towards Eustisford, Yeah, not seeing much there, which is good. Obviously, we don't want to see stare down a big tornado. But yeah, there you go. So there now we're pointing to the north, and there's our big cell. We're going to keep a safe distance for you there, Megan, but we'll get you a little bit closer to that cell. Hopefully, we can give confirmation to our folks at home whether we have a tornado on the ground or hopefully it has lifted, and that's why we have the storm chaser, folks, to be out here. We're going to keep her a safe distance away, but we're going to get a view of this storm from the south end, which should be give us a good picture of what's going on. All right, let's take a look. Actually, Tyler Moore is out as well. Just sent a tweet, had some rotation with this. This was the cell Oconomowoc. This was the little cell that was out ahead of this big main event. Had some really interesting little upper level rotation to the storm. So you got the shear. Brendan Johnson and I were talking earlier that once we get this low-level jet to increase this evening, we were going to start to see these storms come into fruition, and unfortunately, I think we're starting to see it here. We're going to go back up towards Juneau. I think Juneau right now is still waiting on the most recent scan. That's good news. We just got the most recent scan. It looks a little muddled. It's a little disorganized. I'm not saying the tornado's gone, but it's just not as pronounced. In fact, it's probably racing very quickly. It's probably now southeast corner of Horicon if we have it. Let me switch over to the regular velocity. I'm going to get back up in that direction. And yeah, that looks better. Okay, so what I mean by better. All right, so you see when it was over Juneau? You see that where it's really tight? Notice how just in the last couple scans, we lose that a little bit. There still could be some tornado action here around Horicon, but I'm hoping this trend continues as it continues to work its way to Mayville. Hey, Brendan, give us a little tour of all the current warnings right now. I'm going to check in with Megan with the chaser.
Yeah, absolutely. So we still have a couple of tornado warnings that are on the board right now. These are the two highest areas of concern. So we've got, of course, the storm here in central Dodge County. This is the warning that we have the biggest concern about. This is going until 6:15. So we still have about 20 minutes or so on this particular warning. And then if we move a little bit farther to the north, we haven't heard a lot on this particular cell. This is another tornado warning over in western Fond du Lac County. This particular cell has been making its way through here over the last, I'd say, 30 to 40 minutes. So we've got, a tornado warning here that is in effect until 6 o'clock. So we've got another about less than 5 minutes here to go on this particular cell. So we're watching both of these very closely. And of course, the entirety of our TMJ4 viewing area, as you probably remember us talking about earlier, under the tornado watch until 10 o'clock. So the good news is velocity, western Fond du Lac County, we're not seeing anything that is too terribly concerning, but I do want to take us right back here to central Dodge County. At this point, as Niz was mentioning, a little bit more muddled of a look as we get, more scans in of velocity. So again, the reds, the greens, that's a vector quantity. So we're measuring not just the direction here, the greens pointing towards the radar, the reds indicating winds moving away, but the brightness is also indicating the speed here. And when you kind of get this muddled picture, we don't have the brighter colors and we don't have that really tight definition of rotation. That is a little bit of some good news. So we're still watching this. This is a little bit more of a broad area of rotation. There is likely, according to the National Weather Service here just a couple seconds ago, indicating that there probably is still some rotation occurring to the south of Horicon. I've now switched over to what we call storm relative velocity. We've subtracted the forward motion of the storm just to give us a better idea here. And despite there being a little bit of a weaker return on the outbound winds, there are still some brighter colors here with those winds moving towards the radar site. So for folks overall here in central Dodge County, for folks that are in Mayville, down towards Hubbard, really want you in that tornado safe spot. We just want you to take shelter as this passes on by. For folks that are over in Addison, just on the eastern edge of my graphic here up towards Lamira, really want you to be watching this and be in the to-go position as the storm makes its way through central Dodge County. Again, this is the warned area. This is our box right here. Want you to respect that polygon, all right? If you're in the shaded area, if you're in the red area, It is time to head to the tornado safety spot. It is time to take action. We have severe thunderstorm warnings surrounding this. This is all part of that much broader and larger line of showers and thunderstorms that lends itself to a bit of a strong wind as well as hail threat across the area. So that's what we're watching for. We are hearing from emergency management in Dodge County. Okay. They are reporting based on the fire department reporting. Perhaps we have a funnel cloud, perhaps even a tornado touchdown west of Mayville. Okay, that is something that has been relayed through the emergency manager of Dodge County here on NWS, our chat room here with the National Weather Service, indicating that there may be a funnel cloud, perhaps even a tornado here just to the west of Mayville. So I want to zoom in here on the rotation. All right, so anyone that is in Leroy down to Mayville, it is time to head into the tornado safe spot. Hopefully over the last several minutes you've been able to do that. This is where the National Weather Service is really starting to lock into. So we are locking in on this area of rotation here that has just moved north of Horicon, just to the west of Mayville. This looks like it might take a little bit more of a northerly trajectory over Mayville, but I want anyone in Mayville up to Kikoski, up to Leroy. It is time to head into the tornado safe spot.
All right,
again, these scans are coming in a couple minutes delayed, so we're really watching this in real time, but could be just a minute or two delayed.
Okay.
Liz?
Yeah, a couple of points here, Brendan. Thank you very much. Very detailed of obviously our main event here in Dodge County. I do want to give Metro Milwaukee a little bit more of a heads up here. We're starting to see these storms bubble up. And unfortunately, I think we're going to be looking at these storms very soon to take off and become severe. So while right now, no severe warnings for Metro Milwaukee, I would anticipate these storms farther to the south really start to bubble up. So stay with us. If you're thinking, oh, well, all this stuff is north of me, I have nothing to worry about. I do anticipate this stuff to really start to take off. We're starting to see that low-level jet really start to kick in. Also, I just got off the phone with Megan Lee, who is in the storm chaser. She is now working her way up Highway 67, going to position herself at 67 and 60, and I do think that will at least give us a picture of if there happens to be any rotation. However, we do have the rain that's to the west that will eventually obscure her view. Just rain, nothing severe. With that part to the west as far as radar goes. But I think we're going to have her pause at 60. I don't want her to go any farther north than 60 because then we start to get into that severe hail and also the potential for tornadoes. I think what we're dealing with here is also potential for some rain wrapping there. That was the look from the storm chaser, and as you can look and see the view of what they're in, they're starting to get into some of that rain. What we want to do is be able to stay a little bit out ahead of things or maybe get behind it eventually as this storm starts to work its way to the east. I don't want you, Megan, if you're listening up, and I believe Dan, you're with Megan, don't go any farther than 60. I don't want you guys heading into that part of the storm. But as of right now, really intense lightning, a lot of hail around Horicon, up towards Mayville. Brendan Johnson was mentioning that's where we're starting to focus our attention on the velocity. And let's start to switch over here again to that velocity mode. And yeah, there is that rotation that's right around Mayville. I'm going to save my location here real quick. Bear with me.
Downstream of that, Niz. So
okay.
We now have a tornado warning that not just includes Mayville, as you're seeing there on that velocity scan, but we are also extending that warning out towards Lamira, Auburn, Kewaskum also included in that. I know Niz was just about to show that velocity really picking up there around Mayville. This is kind of what we're really keeping a close eye on as this area of rotation moves overhead. This is really the crux of the big storm that we are watching. This is the primary area of concern. You've got the spike here in colors. This is our area of rotation right over Mayville right now on radar. I want to bring it over to the correlation coefficient. This is not something you like to see. All right, we've got that drop in correlation coefficient indicating that area of rotation very likely is lifting something off of the ground, and this is causing the radar to detect things of other sizes, different shapes and sizes in the atmosphere. When that happens, we drop the correlation coefficient. Things are not correlating together. So it's not all looking the same. That means there are things of different sizes and shapes, and that is directly over Mayville. That is co-located with the area of rotation that is directly overhead, and it does appear, as the National Weather Service now indicating in the chat room, we do have a debris signature on radar near Mayville. So this is very likely potentially a tornado, either in contact with the ground or awfully close to it, Niz.
100%. All right, let's take a look here. Let's look at some places that are in line for now where we have our main area of rotation. That's moving right through Mayville. It's moving to the east-northeast. So let's time this out for some of your communities here. You got Thressa at 612. You have Lamira at 616. You have Campbellsport at 635. Kewaskum 642. Again, this is moving to the east-northeast pretty quickly. In fact, the velocity scans. This is a pretty rapidly moving area of rotation. So again, if you are downstream of this in Mayville, please, you have to be in your basement. If you do not have a basement, you need to get in your tornado safe spot. If you are under a tornado warning right now and you are out ahead of this storm and you happen to be in a mobile home, please find a more sturdier structure. I know that sounds crazy. I'm not going running out inside of that. No, you got to find a more substantial structure. We've had confirmation now of some tornadoes with this. There is a tornado. If you are under a tornado warning, now is the time that you should be, if you're out ahead of that storm, east of Mayville, I want you to be moving to more of a substantial structure with this. And if you do have a basement, of course, that is the perfect spot if you're under a tornado warning. Now, if you do not have a basement, you want to get on the lower floor of your home or apartment, as low as you can go. Maybe that's even a neighbor. You want to go as low as you can and away from windows. This bathroom looks pretty good. This green spot here, this bathroom, a closet, somewhere where you can get more walls and away from windows. Let's go back to the Storm 4 Max radar. And again, we have that new tornado warning that's in effect for a large portion of Dodge County, now even northwest corner of Washington County. Under that tornado warning, let's get a time on this, how long that tornado warning goes, until 6:30 p.m. Let's get back to the velocity data. And there is your area of rotation, right around Mayville. Here you go. You can see right here, this little spot here. Let's see what the radar is picking up as far as wind with that little spot. 70-mile-per-hour wind. Now, this again is a little far away from the radar site, but that could be translating down to some damaging wind. Of course, if we have a tornado, then that would be a bad scenario as well. Let's take a look at our progress with the Storm Chaser. Storm Chaser working its way a little bit farther north, likely now getting into some of that heavier rain and maybe a little bit of hail as well. Let's take a live look with the Chaser. And are we getting any hail? Yeah, I'm seeing a little bouncing. Yep, there we go. We got some hail with the Storm Chaser. Good call on pulling off for now, guys. Hopefully we keep it as some small hail, although I am seeing things perk up a little bit. Let me take a look with the vertically integrated liquid. Chaser is right about 67 and 60. So there you go. You can see this is our location of the Storm Chaser, or right down here as well. So yeah, we do have some hail cores here. Thankfully not as big as this hail core, which I'm glad we did not get under. That's why I advised Chaser to stay south of 60. But yeah, we're getting some hail with the Storm Chaser. A lot of hail with this as well, from Mayville up to Lamira and drifting to the northeast. Let's get our latest velocity scan. Obviously, that is the most important thing here. You can see Thressa, please, you need to be in your basement. Lamira, if you go south of Lamira, that's the tornadic part of this storm as well. Eventually it works its way. Campbellsport, I know you're pretty far ahead of this for now, but this storm is moving pretty quickly. So Campbellsport, I would, at least be considering going in your basement as well. So yeah, actually I would be. You're right in the tornado warning. Campbellsport, be in your basement with that. Brendan, anything with the weather service?
Yeah, so I want to just relay a couple of reports that we have gotten in from the emergency manager in Dodge County. We understand that near Mayville High School, the junior high school on Clark Street, there has been a report of some debris. So just to kind of give a little bit more of a note of caution to the tracks that NIS is providing, or at least the places that we need folks to be aware of. Please understand that we have had rotation, we have detected debris through radar, and now we have reports in from the emergency manager there in Dodge County that there is some debris very close to the junior senior high school there in Mayville, so just north of downtown there on Clark Street. I want to go over to our debris indicator here, our correlation coefficient. Again, we've been watching now Thressa, really an area just north of Thressa, in between Thressa and Lamira, is kind of the area of concern now, as as this rotation makes its way through the northeastern section of Dodge County. So right where you see this brightness here, just north of Thressa, is kind of where that rotation has evolved to from Mayville. I want to take you over to storm relative. So again, we subtract the forward motion of the storm. We are one with the storm, so this kind of gives you an inside look at what the storm is doing. And again, some rotation here. I want to take this back just a couple of scans. You see how bright and how tight that rotation was over Mayville. We've lost a little bit of that definition as it's made its way to Thressa. However, it is still there and still worth folks taking seriously and heeding the warning as we now watch this evolve into northeastern Dodge County. Now, I want to take you back a couple of scans on the correlation coefficient. You see that drop in correlation right there over Mayville. It's a big dot right over Mayville. Again, that's likely why we have debris reported over by the junior-senior school. And then as we kind of evolve this is just about 5 minutes ago, that debris made its way just halfway between Mayville and Thressa, and now that debris kind of scattering out here, probably becoming more dispersed in that very turbulent atmosphere, but we are still detecting a little bit of a lower correlation coefficient near Thressa. Niz?
It's coming in from the National Weather Service, and please forgive me if we were repeating some of this, but we have the emergency manager saying a tornado touchdown on Highway 60 and DJ for about 30 seconds and then dissipated. We're seeing the fire department, National Weather Service is confirming, the fire department confirmed the tornado in Mayville. Let's see here. Another little report here. South of Horicon, Highway E, power lines down. And then lastly, emergency manager in Dodge County is reporting the Mayville Engineering Company has damage to the building there as well. So you have Mayville, likely a tornado on the ground that moved through and is now advancing to the east around Thressa. That same storm moved through Juneau, and that looked like a tornado touchdown in Juneau as well. So we got to hope this thing starts to dissipate here as it continues to travel a little bit farther to the east. Thankfully, the correlation coefficient, Brendan was just going through, looking for those, almost perfect circular areas, not seeing it as of right now. Let's go to the velocity data. This is storm relative velocity. Yeah, right around Thressa. That's still, it's not, like I wouldn't say this is like an EF5 or anything, but still seeing some rotation here where that pink and that green comes together, especially north end of Thressa and eventually crossing over 41 here pretty quickly. I want to get a bigger picture here because, again, I don't want to forget about all of our folks here.
Looks like tornado warning coming up in western Fond du Lac County over by Brandon. So it looks like here on the western side of the county, we're watching this area of rotation here just along Highway 44 near Fairwater, just west of Brandon. So this is likely going to get a tornado warning here momentarily. The National Weather Service just indicating. So that is a new warning that is about to be issued from the Weather Service. We're going to get that in. There it is on our system right now. So this warning, including Ripon, Rosendale, up towards Friendship, really just to the northern edge of Fond du Lac County here. And this is going to go till, as I call up the details, until 6:45. So we still have just a little more than 30 minutes on this. Tornado ping pong ball-sized hail. So all of these storms have been able to produce between an inch, which is quarter-sized, inch and a half diameter hail, which is ping pong ball-sized hail. This is another system, another storm rather, cell that we do need to keep a close eye on. But I know we're also keeping an eye on how things are going over towards Thressa.
I'm hoping that Thressa one is wrapping up. That's my hope. It's not the case. Certainly a tornado warning still in place there. Starting to focus on some of these southern cells now. Remember, just 15, 20 minutes ago, I mentioned I think these storms are going to start to take off. They're starting to get a little bit healthier. And we just got a report out of East Troy, which is, of course, west of Waterford over here into Walworth County, of 2-inch diameter hail. So this thing is producing some very, very large hail as well. Let's put some motion to this. And you can see those storms are also lifting to the northeast. So I wouldn't be surprised if further downstream here, good portion of Racine County, eastern Waukesha County, maybe even the southwest corner of Milwaukee County, eventually getting added to a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's flip over to our vertically integrated liquid. And again, up towards Mayville, still seeing some hail signatures with this. This is becoming a little bit less organized, so that's hopefully a good sign. but I'm going to start to watch. I mean, it didn't take much for that 2-inch diameter hail around East Troy with these down to the south. So heads up Waterford for a little bit more hail. You can see to the east of Spring Prairie along 36, a little bit of hail there as well. Let's work our way back to the north where we have that tornado warning that's still in place for a good portion of Dodge County, and up towards Fond du Lac County, there's also that new tornado warning. Let's see what the timing on that is. Tornado warning goes until 6:45 p.m. for that Fond du Lac County storm. Let's see here. Yeah, issues tornado warning, just looking through the National Weather Service. Let's get a view. If we have the storm chaser, let's head out to the storm chaser, see if that hail is still ongoing. Looks like they're back on the road. Are we able to talk to Megan? Megan, are you available?
Yeah, I'm here. As you can see, I mean, the clouds are very dark. It's very dark where we're at. We are on County Road EE. I'm going to show you what it's looking like right now.
Yeah.
So we did see some hail. It was pretty heavy for a minute. You guys took our shot when the hail was going. So we did see some hail. We're just seeing heavy rain, really, really high winds right now. Just definitely would not be driving out right now. I would just stay safe at home because it's just not weather you want to mess with. As you've been saying, just stay safe. You can hear the wind actually. I don't know if you can hear it right now, but it is just, yeah, the wind is whipping through here right now. We're heading towards 60 right now, and we'll probably turn around just because we know that that's an area that's seeing, is it a tornado watch?
Yeah,
or?
Megan, so I got your location right now with the storm chaser. And yeah, I can see where you are. You're to the southeast of the intersection of 60 and 67. The good news for you, as you work your way up towards Eustisford, which is going to be pretty close here, you're going to be on the western side of the cell, and you're going to be getting out of this. So you're going to have a view of the storms then to the east of you. And eventually, yeah, the rain's all of a sudden going to stop. There's still going to be some lightning. I want you to safely stay in your car, but you're going to work your way out of this. So here's where Megan is in the storm chaser. She's going to work her way on the other side of this and then maybe trail this cell, working its way currently through Mayville. Let's take a look at the most recent velocity scans here in Mayville. Yeah, I mean, this is good news. It's looking a little less organized. Let's go up to that cell that's up towards Fond du Lac County. I mean, yeah, we're seeing a little bit of that green and red come together, but that again is also starting to separate. So nothing at this point that I'm extremely concerned with. Let's switch back over to our correlation coefficient. Again, this is where we look for the debris in the atmosphere. We had some clear signatures of that prior. Not seeing anything at this point. Drops out a little bit around Ripon. Not too concerned there. All right, bigger picture again. Biggest storm is still moving right through Lamira. This thing likely has some really healthy hail with it. It's looking a little less organized, so hopefully that's a good sign here as things drift to the northeast. Latest from the National Weather Service here, rotation south of Lamira, possibly a tornado debris signature. So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at south of Lamira. Okay, so we have Lamira here, right embedded in what would be a very rain-wrapped tornado if we have it, along with some hail. Let's take a look at the velocity. Let's go over towards Lamira here. Let me zoom out. Let's go up top. There we go. So it's this area. Let me pause it. This area that's to the east of Lamira now. That's where the Weather Service is picking up some rotation. As of right now, nothing too concerning with that. Brendan, have you been tracking that one as well?
Yeah, so we're keeping an eye on it. I feel like the last couple of scans, it was looking a little bit more intense there, Niz, at least a little bit more indicative of that rotation south of Lamira. So things are definitely broadening out here in the last couple of scans on radar, but we still do have some rotation in the vicinity here of the Fond du Lac and Dodge County lines. So right in the northeastern part of Dodge County, right in the southwestern part of Fond du Lac County. We're just really watching this in very much real time. We do have some hail reports coming in from Ixonia, 2.5 inches diameter hail. That is some pretty significant hail. I want to go ahead and bring in our hail tracker here to kind of see what we're kind of dealing with. And you can see that we really do have some hail here in the northeastern sections of Dodge County, but also seeing perhaps some pretty big hail being reported in the northwestern section of Waukesha County. So this is just a little hail tracker here. I want to bring up velocity here just as you get into the Dodge County line. Lots of returns, some high reflectivities here from the northwestern section of Waukesha County into the border between Washington and Dodge County. So lots of lightning, perhaps even a little bit of some hail, but really paying close attention here to this storm right now over the northeastern section of Dodge County. I want to pay a quick visit up here. We also do have yet another warning that is still in effect right now over in Fond du Lac County. This is the northwestern side of Fond du Lac County. Really haven't gotten a huge return from this in terms of rotation and the last several scans. Remember that we were watching the scan over towards Brandon. So this is just west of Brandon a little bit ago. We had what appeared to be some rotation here just along Highway 44. That seems to have weakened just a little bit in the last couple of scans. We're keeping an eye on it, but that tornado warning continues for about another 10 minutes. That said, the storm of concern, the area of concern remains here in southwestern Sheboygan County, northeastern Dodge, and the far northwestern section of Washington County as we watch this pretty broad area of rotation continue here, Niz. We do have some, bright spots here on velocity. It just kind of looks like things are spinning around.
And hopefully that means we're looking at lower end tornadoes, if any at all, right now. There isn't one spot on the radar that we're really zoning in on at this moment. But we mentioned that large hail in Ixonia. This storm has the potential for some big time hail. 2.5-inch diameter hail already reported. Heads up, Aaron. This is moving right on in here. There, oh man, that last scan, look at this. Just to the right on the edge of Aaron here, crossing over 83, south of 60. This is some very big hail. South end of Hartford, just south of Hartford and along Aaron. This likely has the potential for at least golf ball size hail, if not getting close to tennis ball size hail. Right along 60, or 83 here, excuse me. Here's County Road O. Here's 83. This is likely some really large hail. This storm has a history of producing hail of 2.5-inch diameter hail, and quite frankly on radar it wasn't even as impressive at that moment when it was making 2.5-inch diameter hail. Now it's even stronger. So we have a very large hail core that's showing up here from Hartford down to Aaron. This is drifting to the northeast, heads up between Richfield and West Bend for the potential for that hail to move through. Let's take a look here. I want to go back. Let's go back to that hail core, and I'm going to put a track on it. Because this has the potential to be destructive hail. We're going to zoom in. We're going to switch over to our standard velocity mode. And you can see how it drops out, how it's like that whiter shade there. Let's go back to the VIL, and I'm going to put a track on the hail core. I'm going to pause it. We'll get some towns involved with this. Right from Hartford to Aaron, and then drifting to the northeast, not drifting, moving pretty quickly to the northeast. So it's a heads up slinger. 634, Hartford 623, Mayville 645, Jackson 649. You're in line for this hail core to move in. I'm talking at least golf ball size hail with this storm as it moves through. I want to look back at the bigger picture radar. Again, we still have the tornado warning that's up towards Lamira. There's our cell that is producing the monster hail between Hartford and Aaron. We'll look down farther south. We got some storms bubbling up here in Milwaukee. New severe thunderstorm warning just now issued for the city of Milwaukee. This polygon here, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, likely for, again, the potential for some hail with this. Yeah, a little hail core popped up. So this is borderline severe hail, maybe up to 1 inch of diameter. What we're seeing out towards Hartford and Aaron, the potential for that monster hail. Let's take a look here again as we widen out the view. Ooh, watching that hail core too over towards Waterford. This one also starting to bubble back up. So potentially some really big hail makers here as they move farther to the northeast. Looking at our chat here with the National Weather Service, storm in eastern Walworth County is pretty solid at the moment going northward. Yep, we're watching that as well. You have that report of hail in Ixonia, 2.5-inch diameter hail, another report of golf ball size hail there as well. So yeah, hail core here moving through moving through Waterford. Let's go a little bit farther to the north. where we again have some really large hail that's moving right on through Erin and then up towards Mayville as well. Still some hail, and another really big hail core between Lamira and Fond du Lac, crossing right over 41 and drifting into eastern Fond du Lac County. Brendan, what you got over there?
Yeah, it looks like we do have a new tornado warning that has been issued for Sheboygan and Fond du Lac County. So I want to go back over to our warnings graphic here to kind of give you just an update here on how things are kind of shaping up. So this tornado warning has been expanded into eastern Fond du Lac, but we also have this tornado warning coming into Sheboygan County now, including Plymouth. This just issued within the last couple of minutes, and this is going to take us until 7 o'clock. So we have this tornado warning now for western Sheboygan County until 7 o'clock, so that's about 35 minutes from now. We are watching the rotation here across southern Fond du Lac County. You can see it is a bit of a muddled picture. As Niz alluded to a little bit earlier, there is no one point on the radar that we are watching that has a very, very well-defined area of rotation. One thing I do want to bring in is the shear tracker. All right, this is our changing wind speed and direction as you go up in the atmosphere, really watching this area over towards Lamira in the corner of Fond du Lac County, far northeastern Dodge County, but watching this progress farther to the northeast. We're really going to have to watch this in real time as it progresses because the environment is conducive to all the severe weather. We've had temperatures today climbing into the 80s, dew points in the 60s. There is still a window here where this could continue to pose a threat for, another tornado to drop down. So as of right now, the rotation looking a lot messier here in the last couple of scans. Again, you saw that initial concern for rotation over in Mayville. We expand this out a few more scans, and you can see we've lost that definition, but there is still quite a bit of turbulence here in the atmosphere over in northern Washington, southern Fond du Lac, and northeastern Dodge County that we really do need to keep an eye on, because as this continues to progress to the northeast, there's nothing to say that we couldn't see yet another couplet tighten up here and wind up with that potential for yet another tornado to potentially form. We've seen this through some of the damage surveys earlier this year. You'll have one tornado that drops down, it lifts back up, drops down again. That's counted as two separate tornadoes. That happened with the last severe event, where we had 7 tornadoes reported in the state of Wisconsin back at the end of April. So this bears watching. Again, I want to bring back the warning graphic because, as we like to say, it is time to respect the polygon. The warning has gone out. So anywhere here in northeastern Dodge County, including Lamira, as far south as Kewaskum there, and the far northern section of Washington, far southern section of Fond du Lac County, all the way as far east as Plymouth, here in western Sheboygan County, it is time to put that tornado safety plan into practice. We want you to get to the lowest level of your home or wherever you may be. We want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, avoiding windows en route. And you want to stay with TMJ4 both here on the air or even online for the very latest as we continue to track this. I want to go quickly back to National Weather Service chat here. Says the National Weather Service they did decide to extend that warning because of the history of tornado production. We've had tornadoes actually reported from this cell, this system, this broad area of rotation, and they have decided to extend that warning into western Sheboygan County because of the history of this storm being able to produce tornadoes. So still something we're going to have to watch here over about the next 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah. Brendan, we're going to send Megan Lee and the Storm Chaser to check out any damage in the Juneau area and then maybe work her way over towards Mayville. Thankfully, yes, I want you guys to be treating, as Brendan mentioned, these tornado warnings very seriously. If you are under one of these tornado warnings, please make sure that you are in your tornado safe spot. But I will say that I'm very grateful that we aren't seeing these couplets, these velocity scans with the colors matching up last very long. I don't think we're looking at a case here where we have a long tracking constant tornado moving through. If anything, it's skipping along, hopefully a lower end tornado. We're going to hopefully start to get some images of this as well with the Storm Chaser. I do want to mention pretty much all of Metro Milwaukee under now a severe thunderstorm warning. There's like several little polygons here. Severe thunderstorm warnings, you need to be in shelter. No one needs to be outside right now. You need to be indoors. You need to be away from windows. There's the likelihood of hail with this stuff, and some also not only hail but also some strong winds, and of course the northern stuff has the tornadoes. Now, I'm looking at a couple of these cells south. This one that's moving through Waterford definitely has the potential for some hail with it as well. You can see moving right into Wind Lake. This guy here, yeah, this is starting to look up too. You can see north of Waterford. You get up towards, eventually up towards just south of Muskego, so the Wind Lake area, Norway here. This is moving to the northeast right along 36. So here's Highway 36, heads up downstream. Franklin, you are in line for this cell. Not tornadic, but the potential for some very large hail with this. This is drifting to the northeast, eventually moving into Hales Corners, Franklin, eventually the south side of Milwaukee, Greendale, Greenfield, all in line for this cell here that has the potential for some large hail. Let me see if I can put a little hail track on this. Yeah, you can see how the past hail, this is past hail, is getting bigger and bigger. So this is starting to strengthen a little bit. Let's, while we're here, let's look at the velocity on this cell. Starting to see a little bit of broad rotation showing up here. Notice that red and that green coming together. Nothing too pronounced, nothing too concerning at this moment. Let's switch over to the storm relative velocity. Very similar image there as well. While we're on the velocity, let's go a little bit farther to the north. And there are some little pockets of rotation. In fact, there's another one that's popping up right here. Anything with the Weather Service on that, Eden?
This is what the National Weather Service is kind of watching. They're watching this area by Eden as you're just getting to there. That is probably, you know, we were talking about, we didn't have anywhere specifically on the map we were watching. We now do.
Yeah, it was the first. It caught my eye like immediately. It's like I broadened the view out. You see that there, this could be another little spot that's starting to fire up. So now we're around Eden. This is an area that's under a tornado warning as well. Just now crossing over 45. Eventually this will move into Sheboygan County as well. So that's the idea here. The Weather Service, velocity might drop out, tornado may lift up, but this storm is broadly rotating enough. There's enough ingredients that very quickly it could drop another one of these. And unfortunately, it looks like that might be the case that's happening around Eden. Let me switch over to the correlation coefficient, see if we have any evidence of a touchdown. Nothing yet. Thankfully, what we would see is the colors completely drop out around Eden. That's not the case as of right now. It doesn't mean that it won't be the case. So we're going to switch back over to regular radar, and I'm going to put a track on this. Again, this is now, we're talking eastern Fond du Lac County into western Sheboygan County. So we'll put the track right through Plymouth. Plymouth heads up 711. Greenbush 659. You have Forest at 642. Dundee at 648. Cascade at 707. So we'll keep an eye on that little couplet that's showing up now on our velocity scans. Let's go back here. Okay, so that's the storm relative velocity. Let me switch to the regular velocity. Yeah, there, you see how you get a little different picture. Basically, the difference is this is detecting velocity in general. The storm relative velocity drops out the velocity of the storm itself. So right here around Eden, this is our spot that we are watching closely. This could be our next touchdown here, happening right around Eden. Heads up Forest, eventually over towards Greenbush, and eventually over towards Plymouth as well as this thing starts to work its way into Sheboygan County. Let's see if this is popping any hail as well. Let's go over to our VIL mode here, vertically integrated liquid. And yeah, it's got some hail to it, but it looks like the hail is starting to drop out. Hopefully that's just another sign that things are weakening. I want to go peek on our big hailstorm, a couple of them. This one that's moving through Hartford, heads up West Bend. Here comes the hail. I hope your car's in the garage. This is a big one here. This has got a pretty good hail core right around Slinger. This is moving towards West Bend. Same story for that cell that's now farther south, moving into Muskego. Just passed through Wind Lake. Heads up Muskego, especially south end of Muskego. We're talking right along Racine Avenue. That is south of Muskego, crossing eventually into the Franklin area. Again, here's, let's see here, just getting my bearings straight here. Here's 45, or here's 36. And you can see eventually moving into Franklin, heads up for some large hail here. This has the potential to move right into the city of Milwaukee. We could be looking at hail of maybe golf ball size or greater moving right into the south side of Milwaukee. Susan, did you have something over there, or was there?
I'm just looking at the live DOT cameras,
Sure.
I-41 at County Road D.
Okay.
And I see a lot of cars like of the highway. There, you can see it in your monitor
Got
there
it.
now.
Okay.
You know, the storm is
It's a
having
good
an impact on visibility.
Totally. I mean, that's a good idea. Okay. Washington County here, so this is 41 Highway D. Likely, obviously, people are encountering a torrential downpour, if not likely some very, very large hail. I think that's a very smart move by those folks there. Again, likely encountering some extremely large hail with this that's moving right through the Slinger area, working its way to the northeast over towards West Bend. So right now, thankfully, nothing crazy tornadic-wise, but these hail signatures are really starting to pop here. Let's go a little bit farther north. Okay, there's our cell that we were watching with Eden. Let's see. Yeah, that still has that little signature of it, just northeast of Eden. This is pretty far from the radar site. Brendan, take it from here. I'm going to switch over quickly to the Green Bay radar site and see if I can get a little bit different view of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's one of the reasons why we still have this tornado warning, as Niz was just showing you that little signature near Eden. The polygon extending into western Sheboygan County. So this includes Plymouth down towards Mitchell, Auburn, Forest. We just want folks that are in this polygon to observe those tornado safety plans. So put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, take it inside and get to the lowest level that you possibly can. I want to quickly get back here, but while Niz is getting that queued up, I do want to show you some of the hail tracks that we've been observing across the area so far. So of course we had that one storm that triggered the warning out over downtown Milwaukee. We actually did hear some thunder here at TMJ4 on Milwaukee's Capitol Drive. So we still do have a little bit of a hail core there in between Milwaukee and Glendale, so really the Shorewood area, even towards Whitefish Bay as well. But a little bit farther down to the south here, this was the hail core that Niz was kind of mentioning that may actually make its way into the south side of Milwaukee, and we certainly could have 1, maybe even 2-inch diameter hail. It's not out of the question here that we've had storms throughout today produce ping pong ball sized hail, so that is 1.5 inch diameter hail or greater, and that certainly can cause damage. So that is one hail core that we are tracking. Of course, we had a bit of a minor hail core, really borderline hail through Whitefish Bay currently. And then also perhaps some marginal hail here along Highway 190 Capitol Drive near Pewaukee, just to the west of Butler, heading towards Menominee Falls. So certainly could see some maybe penny, dime-sized up to quarter-sized hail with those, but really concerned about this other hail core down to the southwest.
I did switch over to the Green Bay radar, and I do have some good news. There was a little bit more indication of these storm cells spinning a little bit farther downstream, but now the cell it's just not picking up anything. Now that's just another view of this storm. We could easily, I mean, I guess right there at Eden, it did flash that little bright little turquoise color there, but I'm not seeing anything out of the Green Bay radar that would be anything different than what we were talking about prior. So we'll switch back over to the regular radar. We'll zoom in on Eden. There, we lost that little scan. So what I'm hoping is if this thing did touch down, it was very brief and it's lifted back up. So we're in good shape there, better shape. I want you guys to still be in your tornado spot, but better shape for western Fond du Lac or eastern Fond du Lac County, western Sheboygan County. Brendan was just...
I just want to give you, because you're about to go talk about that Milwaukee County storm. I do want to say that that storm, we've been following the hail core history of producing tennis to baseball sized hail back in Walworth County in far western Waterford. So I do want folks to know that hail core is something that we really need to keep an eye on as it approaches Metro Milwaukee.
This is, this is, I mean, outside of a tornado, this is very bad. So you have a cell here that's moving into the southwest corner of Milwaukee County. We're talking about some of the highest populated areas here in southeastern Wisconsin. That has a history now, multiple reports of tennis ball size hail that is causing destruction to cars and to property. So we really have to, we got to zone in on this one. The hail core with this, let me switch over here. I'm going to switch to current hail mode here. As we switch over, the computer's just locking up here a second. Hopefully it'll go. There we go. Okay, so there's our current hail. So the hail core is crossing south of Muskego, working its way towards Franklin. Typically we get the Ville returns a little bit ahead of the hail returns. So I'm going to go with the Ville because it's a little bit more real time. So the hail core with this is tracking right south end of Muskego. It's working its way right into Hales Corners, eventually Greenfield, eventually Greendale, eventually West Dallas even, and then the city of Milwaukee. So if this holds together, this has the potential to go right through the core of Milwaukee with tennis ball size hail.
Yes, Niz, I want to give another perspective on this particular storm, and I understand we have the storm chaser as well, ready to show some damage. I want to tell you, this is the storm chaser over in, I believe, Dodge County right now. I'm going to go ahead and switch just to give us a better location of where exactly the storm chaser is. But you can see that damage to some farm, to the farmland there, and some of the silos on that particular farm. It looks like some folks are already assessing the damage.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. Obviously, you can see the barn to the right of that silo damaged. If we could pan over possibly a little bit to the left, I was looking at the tree damage there. That clearly, to me, the way things are chopped up, hacked up, look at the roof of that house, that's tornadic. I mean, I'm not going to, given what we had on radar, given the way things are chopped up there in different directions.
And the storm chaser here is just east of Juneau. They are on County Road S, looks like. This is, some farms here just to the east of Juneau there in Dodge County. So this is actually where the storm chaser is. We've got the locator there just to the east of Juneau. So if we go back to that video, I know they are spinning the 360 camera around if we want to take that again, just to show folks that this was an area that we were watching the rotation make its way through, and it looks like that particular farm has sustained some significant damage. We're zooming in, guys. If you want to zoom in just a little bit more into some of the where that silo has been toppled over, you can also see some damage, it looks like, on what appears to be, if that's a house, some significant roof damage or perhaps even a barn. Roof damage on the house for sure, so we've lost some shingles there. But just if you move this camera over to the right, guys, just a little bit, it looks like we also had some farm buildings that may have lost the roof as well. So you see all those trees, look at those trees snapped. And one thing the National Weather Service is going to look for when they go out is they're going to look at the damage pattern here, and they're going to look for that rotation. And Niz, I have to agree with you. I really do think, looking at this, this doesn't look like straight line. This looks like a tornado.
Yeah, things definitely look like it in different directions.
Yep.
And this could be just one spot across Dodge County that we're dealing with. You may be wondering why I have the temperature map up. I do want to say one thing, as this cell, which we're going to get to very quickly, that's moving into Milwaukee. Right now in Milwaukee, we are at 68 degrees. I don't want to say this is going to be our saving grace here from the hail, but we are in a more stable air mass due to the lake. So my hope is, as that cell starts to move into closer to Lake Michigan, into the city of Milwaukee, the one with the big hail, I'm hoping it starts to collapse a little bit. So let's get back to that hail core. Do you guys at the desk, do you have anything?
I'm just trying to nail down where this farm is. Chaser's at County S and Grove, is that?
County S and Grove, yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. So all right. So here we go. Let's go in on that hail core. Still strong. Maybe not quite as pronounced. It's kind of expanding a little bit. Certainly Brookfield, West Dallas. This is kind of making a little turn to the north here. So Franklin, looks like you might dodge for now the worst of this hail. It looks to be drifting a little bit farther to the north. So I had that track earlier going more into southern Milwaukee County. This is now moving more into central Milwaukee County. Right at the Hale interchange, hail likely starting to ramp up. Here's the Zoo interchange. Again, this has the history of tennis ball size hail, and it's moving right into the city of Milwaukee. While we're here, I want to look at the velocity scans. Thankfully, nothing as far as rotation indicated by radar. That was the storm velocity. This is the regular velocity. Okay, I think we're okay as of right now with anything tornadic with this cell moving into Milwaukee. But I do think we still have the potential for some very, very large hail with this. As we switch over to the normal radar scan here, rain is picking up. Here's probably where we might have the largest hail, where we're starting to get this we're going street level now. Right around Hales Corners. Okay, so here's the Hale interchange. You know how you go through the Hale interchange? You got Whitnall High School, and then you have this area that's right here, right around Woodside Drive, West Edgerton Avenue. This right here is likely where we're seeing some of the largest hail. If that's not hail, it's like a torrential downpour, which it's probably a little bit of both. This is moving to the northeast. It's going to soon cross over the Hale interchange. And then eventually work its way across 41 and into the Greenfield and West Dallas areas. So this is taking a little bit more of a turn to the north. Again, nothing tornadic with this, but the potential for some very, very large hail. Let me switch back over to the Ville mode here. Yep, again, all this pink, again, indicating the potential for some monster hail with this as it moves right into Greenfield. Again, this does not look good for property damage, and you do not want to be caught out in this. Don't be going out. Again, I know there's nothing tornadic at this point, but you do not want to be getting hit with hailstones that large. This again is expanding its way into Milwaukee County, crossing over 41. Let's go a little bit farther north. Let me see if I don't want to be missing out on any other hail cores. Yeah, that's another good one. That's around West Bend. You can see I'm going to take our West Bend camera. Let me see if it's loaded. Or in back, if you guys are able to just route that, it might be a little bit sooner for you guys to get it than I am. Let's see if our West Bend camera happens to be in 4. Yep, there we go. West Bend, live look right now. Obviously, really stormy. Don't see anything, but I am not zoomed in very well as far as anything like destructive hail. It's not hitting the lens or anything, but things could be picking up. Sorry, I'm just listening in the back. Sounds like we also have a photo of some tornado damage if we want to be able to show that. Can you tell me where that is again? Where are we looking? Juneau. Okay, so here again is more tornado damage in the Juneau area. Thank you. I believe that's Lindsay Sierra sending us that photo. Thankfully, it looks like tree and power line damage, probably some structural damage in the background there as well. Again, as we're taking a live look in West Bend, if you're able to control West Bend, and we're here right now, if you can pan down towards the street, I can see if any of this is hail hitting the cars or anything. Thankfully, right now, it looks like mainly just rain. I can see that pitter-patter there, but that could be changing as that hail core gets a little bit closer. Brendan, what's going on over there?
Yeah, you know, we got a new report in from the National Weather Service here from Hales Corners. We got a report of ping-pong ball-sized hail, so 1.5 inch diameter hail, again, associated with this cluster here. I've changed over to what we call, again, vertically integrated liquid. We take a top-down view of the atmosphere, really kind of all the liquid that's there, kind of crush it like a can, and it tells you the strength of the updraft, where all the lightning is. This is really kind of an early detection look, but also gives you a good idea of the hail cores here through central and even southwestern Milwaukee County, even into the far eastern sections of Waukesha County. So did see report in Hales Corners of 1.5 inch diameter hail. So some of this hail that is making its way into the Milwaukee metro area, pretty significant here. So we've got that, inch diameter hail. That is the basis for a severe thunderstorm warning. That's quarter sized. Once you go higher than that, it only gets more destructive. And this is really from Muskego to Franklin down to Raymond, back towards Norway, where we're really just watching for some of that hail. Again, quarter to as much as ping pong ball sized hail that has been reported. And this is on its way into metro Milwaukee as we speak. So this is why we continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning stretching all the way from Milwaukee down into Racine and Kenosha counties. I do want to pay another visit here to the active tornado warning in Sheboygan, western Sheboygan, eastern Fond du Lac County. At this point, we still have not seen anything significant or anything that's really drawing our attention to a specific area that has any sort of rotation that we really need to lock in on. However, the rotation remains broad. So again, for folks that are in western Sheboygan County, I know that you remain under this tornado warning here for perhaps the next couple of minutes. This particular warning, I believe, taking us to 7 o'clock, if I'm remembering rightly. But this, at least this is some good news. We don't have anything specific that we're locking in on, but still nonetheless want folks to, stay inside. You don't want to mess with these storms. These have been big lightning producers, Niz. Lots of hail, too.
Lots of hail. We're seeing the tornado damage now up towards Juneau, likely Mayville as well. I'm hopeful that will be it for tornadoes, but I don't want you guys to let your guard down if you're under a tornado warning. Still going to watch these cells that are producing the large hail in Milwaukee County. Obviously, if we get a spin up that interacts with the lake breeze, but my hope is we can get this line out over Lake Michigan, and then we're done. We will be done. We're not going to look for redevelopment to happen at like 10, 11 o'clock tonight. We will be done with the severe threat for this evening once this works its way out over Lake Michigan. But things are really picking up now in the city of Milwaukee. Likely some hail, likely some large hail with this. Still starting to see those pinks. The hail appears to be dropping out a little bit up towards West Bend. Still hail, but dropping out. As we work down into Milwaukee County, right now it's still mainly the southwest corner of Milwaukee County. Still seeing some of these higher bubbles of large hail. Not quite as impressive as where we were just a little while ago. I'm going to take a look at the past hail tracks with this. And again, this is going to be a little bit behind. But where we had the largest hail, first started over towards East Troy and then worked its way northwest of Waterford into the southwest corner of Waukesha. And if this continues its path, it would go right into the city of Milwaukee. However, starting to see a little bit more disorganization with this. I'm hoping this trend will continue. Let's switch back over to our hail mode, the vertically integrated liquid, and we are still seeing the potential for some large hail.
Hey, Brian.
Okay, so now we have, let's take a live look with the Storm Chaser. Looks like we have some hail with the Storm Chaser as well. Let's also talk with Megan Lee, if you are there, if you're able to hear, have you spoken to anybody, any information on the damage that you are finding with the Storm Chaser? Okay.
No, can you hear me?
Yep, I sure can, Megan, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, we haven't gotten out yet because we were just got hit with another round of hail and heavy rain. So we see a bunch of crews out here, seeing people running towards the silo that seems to be severely damaged. We see cracked power lines. These poles are literally like snapped in half and hanging on, you know, for dear life.
Yeah.
So clearly there was some severe damage that came through here. I'm seeing trees knocked down. But once this hail is starting to stop, we are going to head out and start talking to people to see what happened out here.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. Please be safe. Yeah, don't get out of the vehicle if you don't have to. But yeah, that hail that you're seeing now, it's a little teeny tiny little cell that's moving through. It should hopefully, here it is, compare this to what we saw in Milwaukee County. It's small, still some hail, but it shouldn't last very long. So hopefully you'll be in the clear of any additional damage or any additional hail. The bigger story again with the hail is moving right through the city of Milwaukee. Some large hail there. Noticing another hail core perk up now down towards Racine. You folks down towards Racine and Kenosha, so far you have been spared, but you're now starting to see your hail cores as well. Steve and Susan, what you got over there?
Well, you're getting a lot of people hope that once this gets out over the lake, we're in the free and clear. Is there a way you could put a timeline on this to let people know just how much longer this is with them?
Yeah, totally. That's a good point. We're seeing that one little pesky little cell bubble up over towards Lamira, but let's throw on the HER computer model. And this obviously is a little bit behind of what's happening. So here we go. You'll notice by...
I hear it overhead right now.
Yeah, it's not over the lake yet. So here you go. You can see once this is over the lake, we're at 8:45, 9 o'clock. So according to the computer models, we will be done completely with these storms by 8:30, 9 o'clock. Now, this model appeared to initialize a little late, so it may end up being a little bit sooner than that. And when I take a look at the bigger picture here, we'll take a look at this cluster of storms that's moving through. Bigger picture, you can see how things are starting to work their way. A couple little cells that are starting to back build here. So yeah, we got to clear through this Dodge County stuff, and then eventually you can see from Madison into the west, already the sky's starting to clear out. Brendan, you're tracking. Looks like you're taking a look at that Fond du Lac tornado warning. Anything new with that one?
Nothing new. So we're just keeping an eye out for our friends here in western Sheboygan County. Again, the radar looking fairly muddled here. I think we're gonna, this tornado warning continues, I believe, until 7 o'clock. So we've got just a few more minutes on it. This was what we were initially watching back towards Lamira. This is the parent rotation from the damage that we are seeing around Mayville. Actually just had a bunch of photos come in from Mayville in the NWS chat. Looks like we have some significant tree damage, and very similar to what Megan Lee is seeing over in Juneau, some damage to some farms, some silos down, barn damage as well. And it does look like the National Weather Service is going to go ahead and let this warning expire at the top of the hour. We may have entered into the window where they can't actually go in and cancel it because it's too close to the the end time, but they are going to go ahead and let this go at the top of the hour, just given that we haven't locked in on any particular area of rotation. So that hopefully, folks, in western Sheboygan and eastern Fond du Lac County, that is a nice breath of relief for you. It does look like that tornado warning, again, is going to expire. So at this point, based on the radar observations that we're seeing, as well as, of course, the Weather Service indicating, I think we're safe to say that the tornado threat there has now come to a close. We'll keep an eye on it.
Hey guys, I'm going to jump in right here. We've got an alert from the Dodge County Sheriff's Office. They're asking people to avoid the greater Juneau and Mayville areas due to storm damage. They have a lot of crews in the area. A lot of roads are closed. A lot of power is out in Dodge County between Juneau and Mayville. We have Megan Lee in Juneau. We've got Mike Biermeister getting to the west side of Mayville. We're not hearing good things about what happened on the west side of Mayville. So Mike Biermeister is going to get there as quickly as we can. We're also hearing about some trouble north of Mayville at the Dodge County Airport. So we're going to check all of those places out just as soon as we can get to them. But if you are in Dodge County, do not be a looky-loo going anywhere towards Juneau or Mayville right now. A lot of lines are down, a lot of roads are closed, and there are a lot of first responders trying to get help to people who need it. And there are a lot of people, based on the things we've seen, that are going to need some help tonight. So guys, we'll send it back over to you.
Yeah, I'm looking at, this is our live look in Milwaukee. Obviously, it's coming down. We're going to see a lot of large hail, the potential with this. Look at the lightning with this storm. This cell in southern Milwaukee County is looking pretty intense. What I want to do is I want to start to focus. Obviously, we were up in the Juneau area with the storm chaser. Those storms, we still have that tornado warning that I believe, if I remember right, it looks like it will be expiring, at the top of the hour. So in 5 minutes, technically it will drop out, but it will expire. So that still is an intense storm moving towards Sheboygan and Cedar Grove. Port Washington seeing it as well. But maybe our strongest storm right now moving through southern Milwaukee County. This thing right here, now we're at the airport interchange here. This has the potential to be dropping some very large hail on the south end of Milwaukee. St. Francis area, Cudahy. Look at this thing really boil back up. This has some serious hail potential, stretching from Franklin over towards St. Francis and also right on the southern end of Milwaukee County as well. I do want to switch over to the velocity data. Now, I'm not seeing anything that is too alarming, but what I am starting to notice, again, some of that signature that we were looking at farther north with these storms moving through, that we have a little bit more of these colors starting to get a little bit more scattered, maybe some little areas of rotation interacting with the lake breeze. Nothing that I see that warrants tornado warning at this point. But Brendan, what do you got?
Lightning. I mean, I just want to draw attention to that because this is so impressive. We brought the lightning counter in here. Folks, we have more than 1,100 strikes happening all over the Milwaukee metro area. So these are just storms you don't want to be outside dealing with. You want to stay inside as this all passes on through. And of course, the hail, a separate concern. So I know, over in, the Milwaukee metro area, we're not necessarily concerned about rotation, but the hail's a concern. The lightning is also a very big concern across the area as well. This is moving through our most populated area. We can hear the thunder just over our heads as well. And one thing I did want to do and see if I can do this correctly here in real time was not quite, get a little bit of a look here at the cross-section of the storm. We actually are seeing these storms that have been towering to 30 or even as high as 40,000 feet, which is where jets are flying, our planes are flying. And of course, all of this part of that arc of storms that is tracking all through Wisconsin. It's a pretty impressive line. This is really coming together just as we exactly had thought towards this evening. And we'll just, again, continue to watch this make its way through the metro, and hail's going to be the big concern as well as lightning is.
Yeah, and another thing that we haven't talked about, damaging straight line winds. We have some serious wind that looks like it's moving right through downtown area, down towards, this is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive camera. You can see it is coming down right now. This is a nasty storm, and look what just spiked here, right downtown. This area here, not tornadic. However, I am seeing a little green return there. I mean, we're talking downtown here. This likely is some really strong wind that just passed through, like I'm talking Hone Bridge, like right now. So I zoomed in on this area. Now we're getting a little ways away from the radar, but this area here, that's kind of that yellow shade, that is likely severe wind. I want to put a little query on this, and this is a little higher up in the atmosphere, but we're getting 68, 70-mile-per-hour winds with this. So again, thankfully this part of the storm is now moving out over Lake Michigan, but certainly I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with some damage reports on the south side of Milwaukee, Bayview area, of not even downtown, of potentially some wind damage there. There was another pocket of high winds that I'm noticing up towards the Fox Point area. This is right around River Hills, actually right between, right in River Hills. Here's West Good Hope Road. So you got River Hills here. You have Glendale South. This moved through Brown Deer. This is heading up towards Fox Point, possibly clipping Bayside. A little bit of strong wind here. Nothing that's like catastrophic, but maybe the potential for up to 60-mile-per-hour wind with this. So we're going to see what we got here with this. Looking at the big picture here, these storms again that are starting to fire up over towards Fond du Lac. We'll keep an eye on these, but I really think once this main line gets through, we're going to be in much better shape. A little closer look, I want to look at the storms that move through Racine and Kenosha, possibly some small hail there as well. This one, especially on the north end of Racine County, extreme south end of Milwaukee County. Yeah, that's again looking like another big blob of hail here that's moving right through northern Racine County, heads up Wind Point, especially if you are north of Wind Point here. If you're like, say, 5.5 mile, 6-7 mile road, that's where you likely have some hail. My brother, he lives right on 5.5 mile per hour road there. Mike, if you're watching, text me, let me know, but be safe. If you're heading up towards Oak Creek, you can see it drops out a little bit, but then there's still that main hail core that's moving right through the south end of Milwaukee County. I wouldn't be surprised, Brendan, we start getting some damage reports from hail here.
Yeah, absolutely, especially in the metro area where we've got more folks to give us those reports. We are here at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. I just want to recap for folks that may have joined us a couple minutes ago or just joining right now. We are continuing to follow the severe weather that is making its way through the Milwaukee metro area and much of southeastern Wisconsin. We have now transitioned to a point where we have the line of storms moving through our lakefront communities and the severe thunderstorm warnings covering that as of right now. So severe thunderstorm warnings extending all the way from eastern Fond du Lac and Sheboygan counties all the way down the lakefront to Racine and Kenosha. Primary concerns with these storms as they're making their way through. We're talking about 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts and also 1-inch diameter hail or greater. I want to go over to the vertically integrated liquid. This is where we have the kind of the bullseyes, where we have some of the brightest returns in reflectivity and where we likely are seeing some of the biggest returns in when we talk about hail. So right now in Sheboygan County, really kind of just south of Plymouth, just to the west of Random Lake, over towards Newburgh as well. A couple of hail cores where we could have some quarter-sized hail, but really the big concern is through the Milwaukee metro area. So right through downtown, south to Cudahy, just north of Oak Creek here, likely through the Bayview community, down to the southwest towards Franklin and Greendale. So some of the southwest suburbs of Milwaukee dealing with some of the most intense hail. And of course, Niz was just mentioning a couple minutes ago, here in northern Racine County, just to the north of Wind Point, south of Oak Creek, right along Highway 32. Also seeing some pretty significant hail. We've had a lot of quarter-sized hail reports in Kenosha County as this line made its way through. We're also seeing some reports of pea-sized hail in Oak Creek near Howell and Drexel. That was just within the last 5 minutes. So these are definitely, wherever you see the spikes here, we are seeing some hail, just kind of varying in size, but pea-sized to quarter-sized. And the biggest hail that we've seen in the Milwaukee metro area, again, back towards Hales Corners not too long ago, ping pong ball sized hail. That's 1.5-inch diameter hail that was recorded. One last thing I want to tell you about here. The good news is we are nearing the end of this event. And so the National Weather Service has been slowly canceling the tornado watch as our cold front makes its way through. Still have the tornado watch in effect for southeastern Wisconsin until 10 o'clock. The Thing is, though, the front is making its way through, and we're going to continue to see this tornado watch canceled as these storms begin to exit out over the lake.
Brendan, let's see if we can take it in the back there. If we could take the Discovery World camera, that was just, it's better now, but that was really wild just a little while ago. So hopefully this is a sign of things starting to clear out from the west. This camera was shaking like crazy. It had torrential downpour, hail with it. Things appear to be starting to clear out there. Steve Shamraz just mentioned to me that airport operations are affected, obviously, with these storms that are moving through. So again, things, give it about 15, 20 minutes here, and I think we're going to be in much better shape. But we're going to continue to keep you guys updated. We're looking at the radar here. I think the strongest part of this storm is now out over Lake Michigan. I'm going to look a little bit farther to the north here. We still got a pretty good cell that's moving through Ozaukee County, moving into Sheboygan County. I'm going to give you one quick look here of the Ville in Sheboygan County. Yes, severe potential, not quite as bad as what we were seeing down in Milwaukee County or earlier over towards Waterford. So with that in mind, I'm going to give it one more little look here. Again, that hail core moving right through Milwaukee. Hunker down, folks, for the next 15, 20 minutes at least. If not, maybe just give it a half hour or so if you want to venture out or whatever. These storms should be out over Lake Michigan. We're going to continue to monitor things. You can stay with the crawl on the top of your screen. If we have any information, whether it's the tornado damage across the north or any other new storms that fire up, we will, of course, break in. So meteorologist Brendan Johnson, Steve Shamraz, and Susan have been at the desk. We'll leave you to your normal programming, and we'll be sure to let you know if anything breaking happens.